Welcome to Act on Mental Health. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Sean Hardy. I'm a licensed mental health counselor here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And before I was a counselor, I was a pastor for 15 years. And so today's video is going to be kind of unique in that I'm going to incorporate some of my background in ministry into this video. Now, it doesn't mean it's a Christian video, but coming from a perspective that I think will be helpful for those that are single. Now, if you're single and you're watching this, you may be asking yourself, is he going to tell me how to find the mate of my life? And no, I'm not. That's not what this video is for. Is this going to be a video that's going to help you get past a divorce that you recently went through? Well, no, it's not going to do that either. So if you're looking for that, you might want to go to another video. This video is really for those that are single, just happen to be, or by choice, and they want to use acceptance and commitment therapy to help them live a meaningful life. And so if that's you, keep watching. If that's not you, that's okay too. You can watch and can hang out with us, but that's kind of where we're going to be going. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the thorn of singleness and how we can transform that into a gift that can strengthen us using ACT. I'm not sure what the latest facts are, but about 35 to 40% of U.S. adults are single. And so that's a pretty big audience. I think it's something that ACT needs to speak to. Now, I haven't found a resource in ACT that specifically addresses singleness. And so as I'm making this video, I don't have an ACT resource to pull from. Not to say that there isn't, I just haven't found any. And so I'm going to use my ministry background and something that I am knowledgeable about to help those that are single. And then we're going to look at how to apply ACT to your season of singleness. The Apostle Paul is a character that plays a major role in the New Testament in the development of the gospel in the Christian faith as we know it. Now, he wrote a third of the New Testament, and he did a lot from a jail cell. He was actually a pretty impressive figure because he went through a lot of suffering. And I think as we look at ACT and we look at singleness, we can see a lot of parallels to the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was single himself, and he talked a lot about marriage. He talked a lot about singleness, and he actually said it was better to be single because you have more time to devote to the Christian faith. So there's a lot of benefits to singleness, but there's also some suffering. And one of the metaphors that Paul uses that has always stuck with me is the metaphor of the thorn in his side. Now, the specific thorn remains unidentified in Scripture, so we don't know what that was. Some say it might be a physical ailment. I think if you're a pastor in church politics, you probably think it's a person that was maybe creating some conflict for him. It could have been a mental issue that he was having or an emotional problem that he was having. We really don't know. But it symbolizes a personal trial that he was going through that he didn't name specifically, but just gave the metaphor of a thorn in our side. Now, I've had like a pebble in my shoe, and it's noticeable, but after a long time, you start to really notice it, and it really starts to dig in. So I can only imagine that a thorn in the side would be a similar irritant that we'd want to make sure that we got out. Now, Paul speaks of this thorn as a constant source of distress that he pleaded with God to remove. And in response, he receives a profound answer. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Now, this message highlights the paradoxical strength found in embracing one's vulnerabilities. Now, he asked 3 times for this to be removed, and each time the same answer came back. My grace is sufficient for you. Now, singleness may feel at times like a thorn, marked by bouts of loneliness, societal pressures, and internal conflicts. And really, every time you go out, you're reminded other people are with somebody and I'm not. And it's really hard, even at family gatherings and go to community functions. Everywhere it seems like somebody's happy with somebody else, and it can just grate on you like it's a thorn in your flesh. Now, just as Paul used his thorn as a catalyst for deeper faith and resilience, singles can also transform their experience into a path of personal growth and self-discovery And ACT really shows us a path in which to do that. So I want to show you an exercise to help you do that. And then we're going to come back to Paul's thorn and his side and the applications to our life. This guided meditation is a variation from Daniel Siegel's Mindsight. It's an excellent book. I'll have that in the description below where you can find that, as well as I'll have this variation of this guided meditation that you can download to use for yourself or with a client. So first, I want you to find a comfortable space. So you can sit or lie down in a comfortable position. For this exercise, I want you to close your eyes and take a few breaths, allowing your body to relax with each exhale. So you can inhale through your nose for 4 seconds and exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Let's do that one more time. Imagine the beach. I want you to picture yourself sitting on a sandy beach, looking out at the vast ocean. Notice the details around you, the sound of the waves, the feel of the sand beneath you, the smell of the salty air. Pay attention to the weather. Is it stormy or clear? Notice how the weather reflects your current state of mind. If it's stormy, acknowledge the turbulence. If it's clear, appreciate the calm. Watch the waves as they rise and fall. Some waves are big and powerful. Others are small and gentle. These waves represent your thoughts and emotions. Notice how they come and go, sometimes crashing loudly, other times gently, lapping at the shore. Imagine yourself stepping into the water. Feel the coolness as it surrounds your feet and gradually moves up your body. Float in the water and notice the contrast between the movement on the surface and the stillness below. As you float, notice the waves above you, representing the shifting emotions and thoughts. Now let yourself sink gently below the surface. Feel the peaceful stillness beneath the waves. This stillness represents the calm and centered part of you that remains untouched by the turbulence above. Spend a few moments here in the tranquil depths of the water. Imagine sinking deeper into the ocean, far away from the chaos above. As you descend, notice the sun shining from above, its light filtering through the water, creating a serene and calming glow. In this depth, you are enveloped in calm tranquility, far from the stormy waves. Appreciate the contrast between the chaotic surface and the serene underwater world. Notice that no matter how stormy it gets above, you can always find this place of stillness within you. Gradually float back up to the surface. Notice the water again, but also remember the stillness you experience below. You can always return to that inner calm whenever you need it. Slowly make your way back to the sandy beach. Sit down and feel the ground beneath you. As you breathe in and out, notice the gentle waves coming in and out with your breath. Let this rhythm anchor you in the present moment. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes and bring your attention back to your surroundings, carrying with you a sense of calm and inner peace. In that exercise, you likely experienced two very different worlds. You had the world of chaos above, of emotions and thoughts that come and go, and we experience them. We get stuck in those storms out on the water. And then you also experience the tranquility below of being calm, peaceful and undisturbed by anything that might be going on above. And in ACT, there is this dichotomy between chaos and calm. And we can find that. We can find that at any time. And getting in contact with the present moment is helpful. Now, let's return to Apostle Paul and see how his thorn in his flesh can apply to that season of singleness that you find yourself in. Now, many singles feel that they have their own thorn, whether it be loneliness, the pain of past relationships, or maybe the pressures around us because we're single. Like Paul, they may find themselves wishing away these pains. Now, ACT is all about embracing our internal struggle. It's not about getting rid of it. It's not about changing it. It's about accepting it first and then moving toward our values. And the Apostle Paul, although he didn't have ACT as a reference, he did have some values that were propelling him forward through a lot of suffering. I'm not going to go into detail about all the suffering, but there was a significant amount of trials that he went through to move toward that value. And this thorn was significant to him. Now, when you think of thorn, I don't know about you, but I think of like one of those small thorns that are on a rose bush that if you were to rub up against it, it would kind of prick you and it would be discomforting, but I don't think it would be painful. It certainly wouldn't be something that I would plead to God 3 times for. So this must have been pretty significant for the Apostle Paul, saying, I don't know if I can go forward unless this is removed. I need this removed before I can move toward my value. And so in a sense, this thorn was pretty significant. It was long, and it was something that was creating some pain for him. And so the message got back to him that my grace is sufficient for you, meaning accepting the discomfort and the pain that comes along with this and moving forward anyways. And he did, and the rest is history. But I don't think it's just as simple as let's just move forward with our pain. I think that there were some things that he had to wrestle through so that he could find some understanding. Now, this Greek word in there for sent, I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, but it implies like a package being sent, like by a carrier. Somebody has a box and they've sent this message and the contents of it are yours. And it's like he's saying that Satan has sent him this package that is full of discomfort and pain and suffering. And God is saying, yes, I've given you my strength in your weakness and carry it forward. And singleness can feel like that. For some, it could feel like a trial. For some, it could feel like discomfort. And for some, it could just be a season of pain. And whatever the case is, you're not being punished for your singleness. God isn't up there saying, I just want to give you a hard time. No, it's a gift. It's a package that has been given to you as a gift. And for you to utilize those contents to strengthen you so that you can move forward with the resilience that you need going forward. Now, that may lead to a future relationship. It may lead you to someone that you can give your life to and you can commit to. But it may not. It may be something that you are in a unique position where singleness makes sense for you. And can you still move towards your values anyways? And I think you can. And I think for those times where you're having a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, I think it makes sense to reach deeper and say, well, what values am I moving toward? And why is this stopping me from that? So finding strength and weakness is pretty important. Now let's move on to ACT. How can ACT specifically help with this? ACT doesn't have a protocol for singles, okay? Because singleness isn't a problem. It's not something you come to a therapist and say, I need you to help me resolve my singleness. Help me find a partner. You go to other people for that. For a therapist, you're looking, how do I live being single? And so how do you do that in an ACT consistent way? Well, I think you do it first by accepting the thorn as part of your current experience. It's not a defect and it's not a punishment. It's simply where you're at. And can you be comfortable in this present moment with where you're at? Second, I think you could use the thorn to connect with your values. When I explain values to someone, sometimes they can just pick from a list of values and say, oh yeah, that's my value. That's my value. And for some, it's really easy, but for others, it's very hard. So a way that I help them to find their values and clarify them is to talk about pain. Pain is like the flip side of values. It shows us why we care. It shows us what's important. Now, it may take some time. And I think as a single person, you don't have the distractions that are in a relationship where your life is really wrapped around somebody else and you have to share your goals, your plans, your dreams with somebody else. So you can really do that introspective work to work on yourself. And so as you examine that pain, you examine the discomfort, you'll start to see that there's some values there, some things that are important for you to feel about yourself and the world. And then I think the final thing that you can apply here is to take actions that align with those values, despite the discomfort that the thorn may bring. This could involve reaching out to others for support, engaging in new activities, or taking steps towards personal goals. That's it for this video. In the next video, I'll be talking to therapists about how to utilize ACT in their couples therapy work. So I'm looking forward to that. And that'll conclude our ACT for Couples series. So I hope you've been enjoying this. If you have, go ahead and hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for future content. Remember, your journey towards a more purposeful and mindful life starts with a single click.